Well, absolutely. Today, the Prime Minister did pile on the pressure. He talked about the urgency in Greater Manchester. He talked about the critical situation building in many of our hospitals. While Sir Patrick Vallance, England's chief scientific officer, was asked outright whether this standoff, the delay bringing in restrictions, could mean more people die. It was cautious but clear language from him as he said it's important we go quite fast on this. The pressure has shifted things in Lancashire with an agreement for those extra restrictions, but not without some disagreement, it's clear, because in an online press conference today, some leaders there were using the words blackmail and bullying, even within politics. That is unusually strong language. But we've been talking to people not so much about the politics, but about the impact of all of this on their lives. Here's what we found. This was the week of standoffs and anger. A week of closure for some, limbo for others, more liberties lost, but also more lives, and more hospitals feeling the pressure. After a week in the north of meetings about tiers and finances,
as the canaries in the coal mine for an experimental regional lockdown strategy.
With the words of one mayor still ringing in ears.
But I must stress, the situation in Greater Manchester is grave and it worsens with each passing day. I urge the Mayor to reconsider and engage constructively. I cannot stress enough, time is of the essence. Each day that passes before action is taken means more people will go to hospital, more people will end up in intensive care, and tragically, more people will die.
In another area, on the 7th day of calls with London, a deal was reached. But some local leaders called bullying and blackmail as Lancashire joins the Liverpool City region in Tier 3, the highest alert level.
I think if you are told that unless you agree to go to Tier 3, and unless you do that and thereby accept the deal, if you don't, you won't receive any monies and you won't receive that support. That felt like being bullied, blackmailed to me.
In Blackburn for months now, a high rate of infection has meant extra rules and restrictions. Tonight, the pubs will serve their last pints for who knows how long.
We've got to get rid of this virus, and however we do it, we've got to do it.
So do you think closing pubs, closing bookies, even more restrictions, do you think that'll work?
No.
No? No. How come?
Oh, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
With Christmas in mind, Chris has to believe it'll work. She's barely seen her family all year.
I shall have a lonely Christmas. It'll be me and the telly and the cats.
The thing is, Boris isn't listening. He's not listening to anything. He's done it all wrong.
Heading south towards Greater Manchester, where talks with government seem at stalemate, it's clear being in the highest tier means different things and finances in different places. In Merseyside, gyms are closed. In Lancashire, gyms open, but soft play shut down and car boots banned. The one certainty seems to be pubs.
They need to have it where they're putting us on lockdown, it stays like that until it's gone lower instead of higher. So that's what I think they need to do instead of putting us on and off, on and off.
We first met Charlie at the pub she runs in early September, on the day Bolton's local unlock was cancelled because of a spike in cases. Less than a week later, with numbers still rising, Bolton's pubs were effectively closed when told, along with cafes and restaurants, they were only allowed to do takeaway. Over the next few weeks, numbers kept going up, not as fast as across the whole of Greater Manchester. In the month the pubs were closed, COVID levels in Bolton had doubled.
The higher it's getting, the worrier we're getting.
See, getting closed down is not the right way to do it, but the Tier 3 hopefully will kick people up the backside and show people how serious it is. But that's only if not just Greater Manchester, Liverpool, London, if all the nation, all the country went onto a lockdown.
You basically want the whole country in Tier 3
and
not just
country,
local areas.
Not just parts like Greater Manchester, London, Liverpool.
In a week with another change of rules and a standoff over finances if they change again, Andy Burnham insists in Greater Manchester, many more will face hardship than get support.
I've dropped the kids off to school at 9, and what time is it now? It's 5:25, and you can check my meter, and it's only got £5 on it since. So it's 9 o'clock since 9, and it's been 5 and 8 hours. I've made £5. That's how bad the situation is.
This week, anger boiled, but also fear grew about what will come next, as more people left the offices to work from home again.
Well, that is the picture in the northwest of England, but there are many other restrictions coming into force across the entire country. From tomorrow, London, Essex, York and parts of Surrey, Derbyshire and Cumbria will move into tougher Tier 2 restrictions. They join North East England, much of the northwest and parts of the Midlands, along with West and South Yorkshire. Lancashire will move into Tier 3, joining the Liverpool City region, the only two areas in England facing the most severe restrictions. From tonight, Northern Ireland will introduce new rules for schools and the hospitality sector lasting 4 weeks. Wales has introduced a travel ban today which will prevent people from areas of high infection rates coming into the country. First Minister of Wales, Mark Drakeford, said they were also considering a time-limited circuit breaker lockdown for Wales. Because of higher levels of infection, people in central Scotland are subject to tougher restrictions until the 25th of October. Long list.